Every time you settle for a circumstance that you don't like, and what does settling means you take it serious and you have the false illusion, the false impression that it will control tomorrow, it will control your life. So you settle for the circumstance, believing unconsciously that you do deserve this, that this is the end, okay? So you receive a no in your 3D and you say, that's it. That's what I can get. Or you do some kind of stuff. For example, and this video is called Just Be, because every time you just are. Now, you know that I do talk about two main identities, the identity of the beggar and the identity of the boss. Now, you are a beggar, you are an employee in your reality when you do things to not upset people. You settle and you give up on yourself just not to upset people. And you are put in this decision, you are faced with the decision every day, to be honest. And the way that you react, the way that you take action is the way that will reveal whether you are a beggar or a boss, right? You're also being a beggar when a circumstance has caught your attention. Like you give way to more attention than it needs. And you start thinking from it, acting from it, assuming from it, like your whole manifestation game depends on that circumstance and you start creating from the circumstance. Okay, for example, let's just say, your SP said, I don't want you anymore. Okay, and then you believe them and then you forget all about free will, you forget all about the fact that you're the only thinker, that you're in your own kingdom, that your SP is basically in your reality, in your world, it's a figment of your imagination. You forget all about that and then you start buying the illusion that they have free will, they can make their own decisions, and you're basically acting as a beggar. You start begging for their attention, whether through action in the 3D or you start begging by doing more techniques, by affirming more, by whatnot. So me, for example, I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. My peace is more important than anything that can happen in the 3D. I really don't care. Like, I'm basically not interested in entertaining any circumstance that is not what I want. And from there, I make a conscious decision that, you know what, I'm not going to give my attention. I'm not going to entertain the circumstance. I really don't care. I let the 3D solve itself out. I know what I want. I know who I am. So I'm not defined by the circumstance in the 3D. And when you do that, you just are. You are. So you've chosen your identity, okay? Now, many times choosing the identity is not I am this, I am that. Choosing your identity is based on the decisions, on the reactions that you have, on the actions that you take further on. Okay? So while it can be unpleasant, I still choose not to interact with it. I still choose that, you know what, I'm way too valuable. I'm way too busy in my life. I cannot deal with this right now. I'm not gonna deal with it because it's not worth my attention. So therefore, I make the circumstance my beggar because I'm not dealing with it. Okay, so it literally has no importance for me. Now, sometimes you might pedestalize, you might put on a pedestal a certain relationship, a certain person, because, for example, when you've set the intention, okay, let's just say, for example, I'm going to, I'm going to do this with my SP. And then you see a circumstance in the 3D that is the opposite to what you want. It's basically rejecting your intention. If you are influenced by that and then you start thinking that I never get what I want, I don't always get what I want, like I get it most of the time, but not always, you then start to treat your SP or this experience with your SP as a prize. You forget that you're the prize all along. So everything that you experience in your reality is just a figment of your imagination. It's just a fragment of your imagination. It was never the prize, okay? So you were the prize because the desire can only manifest through you. So it's who are you being? You are being, obviously, someone that treats the experience as a prize, and then you start being triggered, you start doing more affirmations, not knowing that you are actually making it more strong. You are actually dwelling in the identity of, I'm a beggar. Okay, I'm a beggar. I beg this experience. I praise my SP. I praise this experience. Now, what is the solution? Well, the solution is to remind yourself of your self-worth, like the status that you have, because everything exists in your reality. Now, if you start behaving as a beggar in your own kingdom, then that's not very pleasant, is it? You cannot be a beggar in your own kingdom. It's impossible. Like, it's your kingdom, it's your world, it's your reality. That means not everything should catch your attention. You should be unbothered, unmoved. Now, if every circumstance can influence you and then ruin your mood, then you just are someone that is very influenced by your 3D. You don't create the 3D. The 3D creates you, right? Now, in some videos, I did put out the idea of what would God do? So ask yourself the question, what would God do? Well, first of all, when I asked myself this question, obviously I got my answer, and it was nothing such as God wouldn't give a fuck, to be honest. God wouldn't even bother with it. God would be too busy being God. They wouldn't even treat it like it's the end of the world or it's a big deal. So ask yourself, what would God do in my situation? Okay? You'll get your answer. Sometimes all you could hear would be a laughter or an ironic mocking, like, who gives a fuck? Because no matter how solid and important you think the circumstance is because you're in it, the circumstance will never be, because it passes. Everything passes. Everything is temporary, okay? Everything is temporary. Now, it will only last as long as you think it will last. Now, if it caught up your attention and it threw you in an identity you don't like, then only you have the power to choose who you are. Based on who you are, then your 3D will mold itself into who you are. So if you keep behaving as a beggar, you'll manifest more circumstances in which people will treat you as a beggar, right? People will neglect you, they won't care about your needs, they won't give a fuck of you, basically. They will replace you with someone else, okay? So it's up to you. Just be the boss. Just be God. Just be the one that knows this is my world. Everyone in it is paying rent, okay? This is my world. It's like your house. Now, imagine if you own a house, okay? And you treat yourself as being a tenant in your own house. You've automatically placed another authority above you, haven't you? Now, if any one of you own a house, wouldn't it be stupid to treat yourself as if you're a tenant? That you pay rent to your own house? Would you do that? Of course you wouldn't do that. You know you're the owner of the house. Everyone in your house is a guest, so you wouldn't treat yourself as a guest in your own house. Because it's not their house, it never was their house. I dare you to remove your attention away, and I dare you to command something. You will see the kind of power you have over them, over everyone. Like, basically their destinies and their lives are in your hand. They depend on you. That specific person you've been pedestalizing so much, their destiny depends upon you because they are in your house, right? You can throw them out of your house whenever you want because it's your house, it's your property. Okay, just saying. So if you keep behaving as a tenant, as a guest, as a stranger, feeling privileged that you got your own place, and that being grateful that someone gave you that place, can you see what you're doing? You're basically grateful for receiving something that was yours to have. You put it there. It's your house. It's your home. So stop behaving as if you owe someone, if you owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone anything. Just know that, hey, this is my house. I make the rules here. and everyone else is just a guest, a tenant in my house, because they do pay rent, right? Or at least they should. So whenever you feel like you're behaving as a beggar, ask yourself, am I actually chasing my manifestation? Have I pedestalized this experience, this fragment of me? Am I looking at it and hoping it will be mine? Am I acting as a victim, as a beggar, as a tenant? Now, you do have the answer. The answer will come to you automatically. And then ask yourself, what would God do? So just be God. Just be the only thinker. Just be the only boss. Because you are anyways. So if you want to live your life behaving as if you are playing the part, playing the role of a beggar, be my guest. Anyways, you are your manifestation. You're not a beggar to your manifestation. You're not begging your manifestation to come into your reality. And that's pretty much it.